from Gia and good morning from Hannover. We moved with the Beckhoff booth to a different exhibition hall. We are now in hall number 27, booth G56, but we are in our old size again. But of course, Roland, I brought you with me and we are very delighted to welcome you and everybody else who's visiting today on our 1,500 square meters booth here.
So you talk about the old size and you look to me. I really appreciate this. Thank you very much.
I mean it in the best way possible.
Yes, I know. Well, the hall changed, but not the intention of this live and interactive broadcast, because this is all about technology and is our possibility to share with you insights into the latest developments which we've done over the last couple of months. And that's something which we do about 30 minutes now in a row, and we do this again over and over on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And live, this is us, interactive, this is you. So we kindly ask you to use the opportunity and get in touch with us. You can simply use the chat window, and if you got a specific question, maybe in regards of one of our technologies or any other question, type it in and our chat team back in the headquarters will answer you, or even the two of us. Second possibility, we have a meet at Beckhoff email address, which you can also use. You can ask for maybe a meeting or a special request for technical drawing, whatever comes up into your mind. So interactive, this is your job. Live, this is our job. And we start live, and I think we had the honor actually to just meet the German Chancellor here on the booth. He wanted to know something about artificial intelligence and Beckhoff overall. But he was mainly talking to Friederike and Johannes Beckhoff, our second generation. You are going now to talk to Hans Beckhoff.
I will try to, but in the meantime, if you have complicated IPC questions, Roland can help you.
Yes, I'm ready for you. Let's go.
Let's go to Hans. We want to celebrate a small birthday this year at the Hannover show, which is the 40th birthday of the PC control technology. And for this, I asked Hans to join me. So Hans, in 1986, Germany lost 3-2 against Argentina in the World Cup final.
Oh.
I just looked it up. It was a player named Jorge Burrachaga who made the 3-2 in the 83 minute.
Okay, yeah. 1986.
Yeah, 1986.
Yeah.
But 4 years later, we could do it in Italy again. So it's a good omen, maybe. But also in 1986, Beckhoff introduced the C4000, the very first industrial PC. And we brought one with us. What can you tell me about this beautiful piece of technology?
Yeah, I'm feeling at home. It's my youth, my youth, and it's really out of the good old days. You see, very robust design. Tubes instead of LCD screens. LCD screens were not available at all. And we already had a PC-like keyboard on the front, and we didn't have a mouse, or we didn't have a touch functionality. Instead, we had this cursor type of operation. And so it looks a little bit old-fashioned today, but it includes already all the principles of PC control we have today. So take the elements of a PC, develop it completely new in form of an industrial industry PC, but stay with the compatibility to standard PCs. And then you have a wonderful base, a wonderful industrial workstation for controlling a machine. And for sure you have to add some software. In these times, the PC was running under the DOS operating system, and our software was called S2000. It included already PLC and included also a lot of motion. So a lot of the functionality we have today was in its first steps implemented already in the 1990s.
Yeah. And of course the form factor changed, but I think today you can also still get a Beckhoff PC with a foil keyboard and all the elements which we already had back then, yeah?
Yeah, that's true, yeah. And we always looked at design. If you look at these keys, they have a three-dimensional look, which was also by itself a revolution in these times, because before this all keys were made without fantasy.
Yeah. But I think today it's still very important to you to look for the design of our products, yeah?
Yeah. This is a robust, but for its times also beautiful design. And if I may mention, some of these PCs are still in operation, so we are still repairing them. So we always look also at the longevity of our products. And these C4000 series is a good example. So after almost 30 years, there are still machines running with our controls, and if there is a problem, we still try to repair them.
Yeah. So not only beautiful in design, but also beautiful in functionality. What was the market feedback in 1986 for PC control?
In fact, we showed it for the first time officially in the year 1990, exactly here on the Hannover show. It was our first Hannover show, very small booth, 6 meter times 6 meters, but it got it sometimes really crowded because this principle, take a PC, take a fast field bus, it was our light bus, our fiber optic based field bus, and build some I/O modules and take a lot of software and control the machine. This was completely new, it was revolutionary, you couldn't find it in these times on other booths. Different to today, where almost anybody is doing this kind of technology. But in these times it was revolutionary, so it generated a lot of interest for the competition and also for journalists, for the public.
Yeah, so nowadays it's an industry standard, and I think that's also because of the continuous effort which we put in there. So if we look at the device from 1990 and compare it to the device from 2026, this is also a panel PC, yeah? So it has an integrated logic, but of course completely different specification.
Yeah, but it's an amazing progress. No? So if you look at the CPUs which are working inside, for instance, so then we have, this was the 386 in the beginning and 486 of around 1990. Some people will remember the 486. And the clock rate was about 30 megahertz.
Yeah.
And today we have 2 gigahertz, and we have not one core, we have 8 cores working in this beautiful small PC. So the performance has almost grown by a factor of 100 or even more in these times. And this is what we promised from the beginning. Dear customer, if you choose the PC control technology from Beckhoff, every year you will experience a faster, smarter control because of hardware progress and because of software progress. And it's interesting to see. So this is this one is more than 100 times faster, and it's also, would say, 50 times smaller.
About.
and it's also getting less expensive. So this one we sold for about 6,000 euros.
Yeah.
And this today is 1,000 or 1,500.
So it's an amazing progress. Very good to see that you and Mr. Moore were very right about the advancement in the direction of the technology.
Yeah, the Moore's law, which has been declared dead for a lot of years, but it's still alive.
Yeah.
And the engineering fantasy is smarter than all the journalists who are writing articles about the end of Moore's law. Yeah. So we can expect that the performance will grow further in the next years. And on this show we see an example. The combination with artificial intelligence needs more performance, and we are providing it.
Yeah, it can be integrated by bringing the GPU into the IPC, for example. So
there is a tendency that Intel is integrating already some functionality into their standard CPUs, so that you can do, let's say, smaller inference runtimes directly with the Intel CPU, and for sure we can add a co-processor, which is then bringing the performance which is needed for real artificial intelligence.
Yeah, we're actually using these AVX commands also in the Explanat to execute the position feedback there. So it's already in the Beckhoff technology.
Yeah, there we do not have a special GPU. So
exactly.
we are doing the neural network technology inside the x86 architecture, which is for a lot of samples for applications working.
So AI brings us a lot of possibilities, a lot of comfort in the engineering side, as we are also showing it on the booth, a lot of efficiency. Do you also see some challenges with AI?
Well, it's changing maybe the rules, the possibilities. First, it changes the technological possibilities, so new ideas can be generated on this new technological approach. You see, when databases became a reality, so somebody could start to think about how to use a database for something, and this was a small change in the way program solutions have been made. But compared to artificial intelligence, it may be a little bit similar. Now we have artificial intelligence as a building block, which we can integrate into our functionality. And this is what we always have done. We saw Trinket, our software, as a platform for integrating all different approaches or all different functions you need for a high-end automation. So therefore we integrated vision, we integrated loop control, we integrated motion for sure, we integrated a lot of scientific automation, as we call it, so measurements and analytics, and we integrated a lot of communication functionality. And on top of this now we are adding as a function block LLM, so large language models. And this is a very, very important step because we are using these LLMs not only for engineering tasks, which is more or less an offline support for an automation solution, but we are using it directly for controlling the machine, which we're also showing here on the show. And this means we integrated the functionality very nicely and very smart into Trinket, so that from the PLC you can call the LLM, and also the other way around, the LLM can call PLC function. So it's very nicely integrated. And on top of this, we show it running on a local PC, on a local CPU, so we do not need a cloud anymore. So we used a highly optimized small LLM together with a high-end GPU card in a PC, and this works good. So it's the way to go.
So even today, with AI as a new trend, we can utilize the PC-based technology, maybe change or add one or two additional components to it, keep the automation software, add also the interfaces to operate with to interoperate with the generative AI, and then you can also benefit from all aspects of the latest, greatest technology.
Yeah, our customers can expect from us that we are really integrating this functionality, and so they will suddenly find that they can have from Beckhoff a control with integrated LLM, and they can use it for their purposes. So they don't have to worry about changes in technology that they cannot cover. So with Beckhoff PC control and Beckhoff AI technology, we are bringing, as we think, a very, very good solution already now into standard machine controls.
Thank you so much, Hans. I think that's a very good and a very calming message for all our customers. They can be sure we try to keep them in the lead. Have a wonderful day here at the exhibition, and see you later.
Thanks.
I will now hand over to Roland, who is with Friedrich discussing about the system configuration of the MX system, which is, I am sure, also a great advantage for many, many applications.
Well, the greatest advantage actually is the MX system itself. You might remember that we presented MX system already a few years ago, the cabinet-free automation. So basically we replaced the cabinet with a backplane, with different components, with input and output modules, motion modules, with IPCs, with power supplies, and all of them put the system together, the MX system. Now, Friedrich, as the system is ready, it is used, customers are happy, we generate business, it's so wonderful, we should simply relax and then just enjoy the ride. But you came up with something we call the MX System Designer. And according to the internet, Friedrich, a designer is a creative professional who designs visual content, products, media or services. So, you are now a designer, so what is the MX System Designer?
No. The point is relaxing.
Okay.
We as the product management, now our work is done and we want to relax.
Okay.
But in order to do that, we need to enable the customer to do our job basically for us. So build a system and know it's right, it's working. That is something we know what you can do and what it can't do, and where you can put it and where you should not put it. But this is something the customer probably has to learn now, and the system designer tells him everything that he can do and that he cannot do. So we can relax now.
Okay. I think when we built the cabinet, I think cabinet builders were pretty much aware about the necessity of each component, about the functionality. So basically this knowledge which we had in the cabinet, which you have for MX, is now inside the system designer. So we just configure now the application, or how can I think this is working?
Yeah, basically it's the same as in the control cabinet, but there's a lot of stuff that you put in the cabinet that we put in our modules, just like you said. And now it comes down to what kind of sensor or actuator do I have, what kind of motor do I need. I put this in my project in the MX System Designer, and then I can just add the modules I need to fulfill the functions, and then have the motor running.
Okay, but choosing the modules, like the power supply, the CPU, or the IOs, this is one thing. We have the modules, you choose the right ones, but this is not the full story. So how is it possible now that the designer generates now the total features, what is missing, cables? I mean, there's much more than just the module.
Yes, it is. So when let's leave the cables out for the moment, but the knowledge about the module we gave to the MX System Designer, so to say. So the designer can calculate the power consumption or the current consumption from each and every power supply. Okay. So let's say you have a lot of drives in there, and you would surplus, or you would exceed the maximum power the drive or the power supply can deliver, and then the designer would give you a warning. That might be a bit too much here, you're using 150%. And then you can rework stuff, maybe put another power supply in it, and work with the feedback.
So I don't need my notepad and say 5 amps, 10 amps plus 5 amps, like 20, and the power supply only at 15. This is done.
This is done. This is all done in the designer, yes.
Now when we take a look to the designer, I think from a customer point of view, it's a simple web tool, right?
Yes, exactly.
So this is an overview, so you just open the browser, the tool is there, and this is like a possible scenario you can see at the end of the day?
Yes, it's a fairly simple system you see there, but you get the idea. You see the modules, you see basically everything is a VisiVic, like what you see is what you get. You see the cables, you see all the modules, and you can save time when it comes to the cable. So it's something what is the right cable? It's always a hassle to select the right cable, but here you select one connector and another connector, and then you just say, give me the cable. And then it will select the cable for
when
me.
we took to this is easier said than done, Friedrich, because I mean, even here, I got M8, M12, the B connector style, different sizes. So are all these, and another ones for the PC. So is this all also included into our system designer?
Yes, it's roughly 2,000 different cable types, not including the length. And they are not all present right now, but we are working on it. But yes, basically all those configurations will be in the system designer, and he will tell you the right cable, or it will tell you the right cable.
So this is the promise. MX System is as simple as it can be. You just use the component from the system, you plug it to the backplane, and the cabinet is gone. And now the system designer makes your planning in the same way simple as the product itself.
Exactly.
Perfect, job done.
Yeah,
thank you. Now, this one here, you told me, is an 8-channel input.
Exactly.
Also have a 16-channel input.
MO2316.
All right.
16 digital IOs.
Now let's see if Felix can beat this. And he probably have even product with more than 16 inputs. Let's see what Felix and Michael can talk about.
As the MX system, we are all standing on the shoulders of giants, and in the case of the MX system, this is clearly our I/O system. You know our big wall of IP20 I/Os, more than 900 pieces are available just with the EtherCAT terminals. And very recently, we introduced a couple new EtherCAT terminals, the ED terminals. Michael, can you tell me what happened in the last 4 months? Very difficult. TH is very complicated, for me at least. What happened in the last 4 months with the ED series?
Mainly the availability, also a difficult word, increased. So we launched it in November last year. The first couple of modules were already available, and now we have already roughly half of the product portfolio that we announced is available from stock.
Very good job.
Basically, of course, we also introduced a few new modules.
Yeah.
But the main feature is that we get feedback from customers now, that if we have available, first applications are done with it.
That's very, very nice. What are the customers thinking about the ED series? They know our I/O portfolio quite well, so they have quite high standards, I assume.
Yes, so we normally do innovations in electronics and software. Now it was more in the electric-mechanical things. And we get very good feedback just for the basic feature that we have now push-in technology, or very simple things that this lever where you can pull out the terminal is a little bit improved. And the main thing is, of course, that we have now app-based diagnostic to use the smartphone as a modern multimeter that gives perfect feedback.
And for this, you only need this special shark fin terminal. Then you have an interface, a wireless connection, and then you can basically figure out how the individual terminal is doing, right?
We have to reconsider our naming for the terminal, either shark fin terminal, we call it diagnostic interface terminal, but yet you need it once in the system, and then you can connect via smartphone or tablet and see all the values and get the diagnostics.
Okay, I think maybe we can brainstorm a little bit about the names tonight or later. Did we also introduce some further exciting technological inner parts for the new ED series?
The inner value is, of course, not the existing electronics. It's all new and fresh developed.
Not just a pretty face, also a good...
Also a good inner core, yes. And the inner core, just a few examples. For example, we have done our drive terminal has now half the size. It has auto-tuning, and alone these two features, half the size, at the same power, and the auto-tuning up to now we only knew from our big drives is a big advantage. Our serial communication terminals, they have now integrated termination, they support distributed clocks, they have integrated supply voltage for the connected interface. Similar things are true for our scaling terminals. They have now all integrated supply, digital inputs for starting the scaling, higher sampling rates, so many little things that are better than in the existing versions.
Okay, so small advancements in all areas. To me, that's always the biggest fun to discuss with you guys about the I/O terminals, because there are so many different small and big technologies in our I/O portfolio about, one can discuss, be a little bit nerdy also about it. So I think that's a very cool part of the product portfolio. Michael, thank you. Have a wonderful day with the I/O terminals here. I will now hand over again for one last time to Roland, because there is no PC without an operating system, and Linux has been a big topic for us, and that's why Roland is discussing it with Daniel.
Don't get us wrong. The word nerd and Linux does not immediately need to be together in one row, okay? Software nerds can use all kind of products, not only Linux. But you're right, Felix, we will talk about Linux. And before we do this, I really appreciate that some of you followed the invitation to ask questions in our chat or with other channels. And the first questions came about PLC++. We answered them in the chat, so feel free to continue. And I can give you also an insight for tomorrow. We will have tomorrow an extra slot also on PLC++. Now let's come to the topic, runtime for Linux. Now, by the time it's even printed on an exhibition wall, it has to be something serious. And I would like to talk with Daniel about the situation with Linux. You might remember a few minutes ago, we talked with Friedrich about MX systems. And Friedrich said, Daniel, MX is all available. We are just working now on little software designer tools to make life easier. Now, Linux was presented
2024,
2 years ago about now. Can we get a penguin up or thumbs down? So what is the actual status?
I would say we can give a thumb up, definitely.
Good answer.
Yeah,
So why is that?
Why is that? I think mainly because last year in October we had our first release. Before that we had our beta phase where already many customers joined. They started to evaluate TwinCAT for Linux, looked at the platform, looked at their projects, and now with the first release we also have first customers who use TwinCAT for Linux for their applications. Yeah, so we see the interest is rising, and I expect there will be more.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Now, this beta phase is always helpful because we have real customers using the first type of program actually, and we get valuable feedback. So you were able to take this feedback and put it also now into our final distribution?
Yes, absolutely. That was true for the beta phase, but it's still true as of now. So still customer use this platform, and we still get feedback what to improve, because keep in mind we have 30 plus years experience with Windows, and now we start with Linux. So there will be a gap, but we will give our best to reach the same level.
So first checkbox is taken, Linux is available. Now I need hardware for this.
Yeah,
every hardware need now a special distribution. So what hardware is available?
We can have a look over here, of course. So here we have a small overview of our different platforms, starting from the very small ARM-based embedded PCs, and then we go up to the more powerful PCs. Over here, like the embedded ones, in this case with the AMD CPU. Over here we have our smaller C60 series with the Intel Atom LCAD late generation, and over here one of our more powerful IPCs. And we support Linux on all the current and the coming platforms, like in this case we have the 11th generation Tiger Lake Intel Core CPU.
So that means I got the Linux distribution done and I have already hardware, the latest hardware available for this. I love this because, as a PC guy, I love the scalability. I had always the option with the Windows operating system. I got the Trinket BSD, and now we add a next option with Linux. Perfect. But, I started with Trinket runtime for real-time Linux.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, I know it's cool to have a Linux distribution, but it would be even better if we also have Trinket based on Linux. So what is the status there? Because real-time operating system is much more than just an operating system.
Of course, yeah. So of course we have the Trinket runtime ported for Linux. It's the main function we need for our PC-based control system to control motion, to do PLC logic. So we have ported our Trinket runtime for Linux. Actually, from customer point of view, it's still the same runtime with the same interfaces. So they still connect from a Windows PC with the Trinket engineering to a Trinket for Linux runtime system, and then they can activate their configuration as before. And besides the Trinket runtime, as you know, we also have our Trinket functions, ranging from the basics like PLC, motion, connectivity, HMI. So the majority of those functions have also already been ported.
Okay. I think this is a tricky thing because we have so many functions. But I realized with the new ED terminals, we don't have 1,000 different ones, but we had the most important ones. That's always the starting point. Yeah. So you think there's a critical mass of functions already available that most customers can start?
Yeah, I think so. Like, as I said, PLC, motion, safety is also already supported. Yeah. HMI connectivity. Of course, as I said, we still have to get to the same level as on Windows, but we will, I'm quite sure.
Windows has 20, 30 years a head start, basically.
Right.
Now, I think finally it's important to put this now in an order. So we have Windows operating system, Windows 10, Windows 11, and upcoming Windows. We have the Trinket BSD. We have Linux. Does customers have to make a choice, or is this just an, let's say, addition to the product line?
Of course, sooner or later, customer has to make a choice. Yeah. But of course, he can go with Windows, BSD, or Linux. In my opinion, in the end, it's the application the customer has, because based on the application, he will choose the operating system. Of course, he can do control applications on all of the different platforms, but the benefit of having PC-based control system is to run additional applications next to your control system on the same IPC. And we see more and more customers who have Linux applications and they want to put it on the PC next to their control system. So now they have also the option to do that.
Yeah. I know it was a big job. It's not just even a real-time Linux distribution, but at the end I would say we listen to the request of our customers. We use PC-based control of the platform, and we just add this option now, and the customer is in charge to go this way or the other.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Daniel. Good luck on the trade show. And that's basically what it is on the first show. I think the last sentence was really great because it goes back to PC-based control. And you might remember that 25 minutes back, Hans started in the year 1986 with his first experience with PC-based control. And now we have the latest, greatest operating system. So we are back from DOS over Microsoft and Trinket BSD and all the way to Linux. Now, thanks for listening. There's another show coming tomorrow and on Wednesday and on Thursday. And tomorrow I have the honor to welcome 2 customers. So we have 2 live experience from customers here on the booth. We will talk about EtherCAT as a technology, and we will use to take a first look into the Trinket Co-Agent. A great tool which will help you to use artificial intelligence also on our controls. Thanks for joining. Have a wonderful Monday, and we see us tomorrow. Bye.